almost tried to convince me, but I still wear a smile on my face. The smile is just a start from a good happy place. Hold on to possibilities of who you wanna be. What you see, what you believe will be your destiny. Like they say, everybody can take this ride. Sometime you must encourage yourself to live the good life. Everybody wants a good life, yeah, a piece of pie. See, everybody wants the good life, the good life.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm Musa Jackson, and I'm the host of Ambassador Digital Magazine Live. Wow. Here we are, January 21st. So it's the 21st day of the 21st year of the 21st century. Synchronicity, some synchronicity there. Wow, a lot to say. I just want to say this is an incredible time. I'm so excited to bring on our amazing guest. We're going to bring her on in a few minutes. So I'm so excited about that. She's just an incredible woman. You're going to have so much to learn from her. Wow. I know we've been through a lot. We have been through a lot. And I'm taking a collective sigh for all of us because we just got to blow that bad energy out. This situation we're going to talk about, we'll start off with what happened yesterday, which was the inauguration of our president, Joseph Biden, and the historic-making Vice President Kamilah Harris, who is the first woman, first Black woman, first South Asian woman. And her husband made history too. He's the first or the second gentleman, which has never happened before. So that alone, I'm extremely encouraged by. And you know what? What's so great about all that? You know, when I think back is that we did that. I know a lot was put on Georgia. We had a lot riding in Georgia. You came through, Stacey Abrams. So many honorable mentions in terms of what made this moment for us possible. But everybody that really, it's your victory. I'm going to take a few laps. I voted. So I think we all can just applaud ourselves that we did that, right? And, you know, so I just wanted to say that to us. It was an incredible inauguration. You know, we saw, well, before that, the day before that, this administration took a moment to honor the 400 lives that were lost, you know, that were lost to a real pandemic, to COVID. Our brothers and sisters, some family, I lost myself, some family members, as well as friends I lost. And they were real, not a hoax. So we're already starting off on real with adults, which a real administration, I just want to say that. So thank you for that. That was beautiful. And it was moving. And it just set the tone, really set the tone, besides what we're going to see to come, I hope, and what, you know, I see happening in the White House, or what the appointees, his nominations, you know, our president's nominations. So we're going to hope those go through. I think only one went through so far, but he has an array of what looks like a to me in terms of the type of administration that he wants to have. And That administration is made up of women, it's made up of LGBTQIA. We have first trans woman that will be hopefully serving as the health secretary. Then you have a Native American, you know, the first families really of this nation serving. So you have that happening. You know, you have Pete Buttigieg. Oops, you're going to correct me later. We'll get to know him more, right? But we have him, first openly gay, one of the first openly gay senators out there that will be part of his team. You know, but the inauguration, we're going to see that, you know, we let the other orange thing, he left and he went to wherever he went to. I think he went to Mar-a-Lago. It doesn't even matter to me. Wherever he goes, just I don't really want to see him and his family. Although we'll, as taxpayers, I believe he extended their Secret Service for the whole family, so we'll be still paying. There's still some connection to him, and the connection that I really wanted was impeachment. That's really all I care about when it concerns him, and you know, some jail time for the people that, you know, tried to attack our Capitol. So, but moving forward, the actual inauguration was incredible. He did not attend, this last president did not attend, the first president in over 150 years to never attend a presidential election. But who did attend were the adults. It was good that he didn't attend. This was for adults. Adults did, the grown-ups attended. So you had across both aisles, you had the Bushes, you had Clintons, and a standout in Michelle Obama, slayage across the board in that outfit. She looked incredible. And it was just really, to me, it was awesome. Lady Gaga, she killed it. She sang amazing. Jenny from the Block, I still call her Jenny from the Block because she brought a little Bronx with her. She was pretty good. She sang, you know, okay. Just keeping it 100 here, right? But let's just say this, future leader, the poet laureate, this young lady, we're looking at the future of our country through this one. And she said that she wants to run, I think she said in 2036, who overcame a speech impediment to be the youngest person to deliver the inauguration poem in history, Amanda Gorman. That name, we will be seeing more, we will not forget. So as you can see, people are just overjoyed. You know, Biden is a good guy. The first lady, I want to say congratulations to our new first lady. She brings to the White House class, dignity, and smarts. There will be no plagiarism. She's a teacher, okay? And she still wants to teach, which is just honorable. You know, I don't know how that's going to work with Secret Service and all that kind of stuff, but that's neither here nor there. I think it just talks to her heart. There is our VP with this second gentleman and their beautiful blended family. They both have blended families, okay? So like I said, this particular administration is looking, quite frankly, like who we are. And I'm all for it. Give him some time. He only had 1 day and he didn't get any sleep because he signed over so many executive orders, one being the DACA, which, you know, he's just overturning all the madness that last administration had, you know, put forth, just dumb stuff. Unfortunately, they started building the wall, incorrect, all that stuff. So he slowed that down, making sure, you know, immigration and all those things, the pipeline, XL pipeline, you know, isn't going to happen, isn't going to go forth. So, you know, all the things that I think that we are looking at, of course, he's going to be extending other things as well, you know. So let's give it a moment, guys. All right. We're going to hold them accountable, as we should. The administration, we always should. Remember, guys, remember this. They work for us, not the other way around. And they are temporary. We will be here, right? So we should hold them accountable. We should speak our mind. We should, you know, always challenge things that are not fair and equitable to all of us as human beings and citizens, right? So once again, and we have some happy birthdays, by the way. I want to say happy birthday to some of our viewers and people out there. Happy birthday, Ina, Renee, Jared, as well as Jason Johnson. Today's their birthday. So I want to say happy birthday to you guys. And thank you guys to see you guys joining us. We are about to bring on our first guest. And I'm going to take a moment just to kind of give her due, as she so aptly, importantly deserves. She's lovely. I'm so honored to say that I got to meet her when she took over the position of executive producer of the Apollo, and it already had an incredible legacy. And, coming into something like that for anybody would be intimidating, but her, she galvanized it, took it. She's right here with us, and I'm as a family's been here. My family's been here over a century, so I'm the Harlem ambassador. Hey, I am excited to introduce our guest for this evening. She is Chicago born, so say what's up, Chi-Town. We love you. She is a proud graduate of the amazing Howard University. We're going to talk about that. She's a director, producer, and award-winning producer. She has done the Hip Hop Theater Festival, created that, came up with that. Amazing how she merged theater and hip hop, two of her passions, directed productions of Holler, If You Hear Me, The Wiz Live, as well as revival of a Raisin in the Sun. She also was one of the executive producers of Def Poetry Jam. She most recently brought the cast last year of the mega hit Black Panther to the Apollo to Harlem. I was fortunate enough to be there, as well as the stage reading of the great Ta-Nehesi Coates' Between the World and Me, which she produced, and then went on to turn it into another directorial feat for HBO. I could not be happier to welcome to our show the epic Kamilah Forbes.
Hey, Musa, how are you?
How are you?
What an introduction. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to be talking to you always, whether we're on, Lenox Ave, bumping into each other, or the lobby of the Apollo, or here virtually. This is amazing.
Always good. It's so good. So good to see you. It's always. Yeah, how are you? And, let's just start off with how are you and your family, most importantly?
You know what? We are lighter. You know what I mean? It is after yesterday. We were such in a celebratory. There was a point in the middle of the day we were all on the couch watching history happen, and literally watching weights, would have felt like weights that we've been carrying the last 4 years being removed from our shoulder. So, look, it's a step in the right direction. So family wise, we are good. We are healthy. And that's right. HU, come through. Hey now. Yes. Hey, that's Showtime Live. That's our marching band right there, and for me, a very personal proud moment, because Kamala Harris, right? Like, she is a parent, first generation American, father from Jamaica, mother from India, Howard University graduate. Hello, my family's from Jamaica. So like, there's so much to celebrate. Yeah. So I'm hungover from the joy. Let's say that.
Yeah. And it's so, how more, listen, I was going to put you in a cover regardless whether there was whatever happened, you were getting on this on Ambassador Digital Magazine cover, but how appropriate
Mm.
When I think about, and my friends, and I see you guys, excuse me for 1 second. Hello, everyone. Steven, Marcia, Sean, Courtney. It's the list is, I love you guys. I see you guys, but I have this amazing guest. And my favorite word is synchronicity.
Mm.
You have very similar first names. You're both powerful women. You both come from at least one Jamaican parent, an immigrant parent. You graduated from Howard. And here you are. I mean, my goodness. And I know they're going to be calling you Kamilah for the next.
Oh, they've been. You know what? And normally I'm very quick to correct people on the pronunciation of the name. But you know what? For the next 4 years, I'm gonna let it slide.
What up, Kamilah? We good?
I'm good. Hey, what's going down? I don't mind that. And you know what was so beautiful? So beautiful about seeing her on that stage yesterday is that there was just an unapologeticness of the kind of space that she took up on that stage, right? Like seeing her power, and not just political power. I mean, there's a lot of times I think as women in leadership, women of color, there's this sort of false sense of humility that we do in order to not intimidate people around us. And there was something about her just boom, here I am. And yes, I am a powerful woman. Second in command of this nation, of the most powerful nation on the globe. So come through. So, there was something so awe-inspiring about that taking up of space that Kamilah breathed. Oh, I love this footage here. And with her and Sonia Sotomayor,
right?
The levels of history and story. So I feel so I can go on and on.
And I agree with you. We can definitely go on and on and on. I mean, I can talk about the color she purposely wore, which was purple, which is majestic.
Totally.
Right? But it's also when you put red and blue together, the color you get. So she wanted even maybe the symbolicness of the purple to me was not lost.
That's right.
Right? That we're automatically saying, you know what, we're gonna go high.
Yeah.
Right? We're gonna we go high. We're classy. And I love that. I love that. And another thing about it with them is that what we saw was unity.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It wasn't an attack. It was a lot of love. There's a lot of unity.
Yeah.
On that stage, you saw, like I said, you saw blended families.
That's right. That's right.
Right. You saw.
Well, this is America, right? This is our country. This is our country. This is the reality of the country in which we reside as well. So to see that on stage and to see that represented in the highest level of office in the country is inspiring. That this is who we're celebrating and this is who we're exalting. Something else about the purple.
Okay, tell me.
We think of is when I think of even just mythology and the color purple, and particularly like in Vodun, right? Like purple is a color. Oh my gosh, I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget this deity's name, but I will remember what the deity represents, and it represents crossroads.
Okay.
And so what's something that's interesting that you just brought up color, right? But what's interesting, yes, about the blended, the red and blue, but in Vodun mythology, this particular deity, and if anyone in the chat know, please throw it out for me, but it represents crossroads. And whenever we are at a crossroads in our personal life, spiritually, personally, family-wise, you call upon this deity to help guide the path. And that's something that's really interesting when I think about just the larger sense of where we are as a country, because, it was so incredible what just happened, yesterday, but also let's not forget January 6th, right? That is also a reality of the country that we live in.
Right.
So, her, I think about that, and want to make sure we don't forget that. It's almost like the Obama administration, we were in the country was in a false sense of slumber.
Right. You mentioned,
and there goes my light. What?
We good. We good. You're still there. You're still beautiful. I can see you. We can see you. I'm just gonna say something that you really touched on, which you guys have similarities. Is you're both you know, her dad's from Jamaica. Your parents are from Jamaica. Immigrants here, but you actually grew up in Chicago.
I sure did. I'm a Chi-Town girl.
Shout out to Chi-Town from Harlem. We always love Chi-Town, one of my favorite cities. So tell me, what was that like growing up in Chicago as a young girl?
You know, I love Chicago as a city. I love going back now as an adult. It's interesting growing up in Chicago because it's so different than New York. Although it's a northern cosmopolitan city like New York, but there's a sense of Chicago that definitely feels like the South, quite frankly. Like it feels there's a slower pace to the city. Right. It's an extremely segregated city. And so growing up in Chicago, I was very aware of that, right? Division. That in regards to here in New York, oh, there's a picture of me and my mama. You look so tired. You know, this is what happens when you raise in a very precocious 4-year-old.
You look like her. You look just like your mother.
I do.
Oh, beautiful. Oh,
yeah, I do.
So sweet.
But yeah, I loved it as a city, and you know, but what also, you know, my parents were immigrants, right? They were from Jamaica, so there was always a sense of, you know, there weren't a large Jamaican population there also. So I think I was always searching for sort of their connective history to really further understand and round out, you know, my identity in that, right? So very different from New York, in which you have a representative of the globe on every block.
Right.
You know, and people living in extremely close proximity to one another who are from vastly different cultures, histories, and backgrounds. So, you know, that was sort of the difference. So I was excited, although I love Chicago and I deeply still love Chicago, you know, I was excited to get to the East Coast.
Yeah. But before you did go to the East Coast. You went to?
I went to Howard University. Come through, HU. Hey.
I want to hear that. I got to hear that you say it.
HU.
You know?
Hey, there we go.
Oh my God. Like, you know, I was just saying, we were talking before, just, you know, like I said, I went to Parsons, went to Parsons School of Design in the New School, here in New York, artist. And weirdly enough, you know, it wasn't until later, and I would run into people who went to Howard. My sister moved to Maryland, Prince George County.
There it is.
So literally 15 minutes from DC. And I went to like a few Howard homecomings.
Oof.
Girl, y'all rock.
All day.
Anyone watching, anyone from Howard, I'm saluting you right now. You guys are everything. And I know other HBUs that I know, they're going, Musa. I'm from Hampton. And nothing can be taken away. I think it's a celebration for all HBCUs. Let's reinvest and relook at those institutions and where we're sending our children. Because one thing you mentioned before about how it was what you got from it. Can you talk about that?
You know, it's interesting, right? Because I went to Howard, and at that point I was you're starting, you go to college at a point where you're really trying to understand who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And it was such a magical place in which you're really fortified your own identity. It wasn't sort of the Black girl or having to represent Black issues, because everyone was Black. Everyone was smart, right? Everyone was exceptional in their own right. So it was then up to us to understand, well, what does our own right mean? What is that specificity now about ourselves that we get to explore versus having to take on the mantle to explain to others, you know, who we are, right? And why we're here. And so that was like, you know, it was a beautiful place to be, you know, for 4 years. So I really, you know, and I found my community. I found a community of friends and family that I consider family to today. I mean, literally, my husband's from Howard.
And,
We met it. Well, we met after Howard. Oh, look at, there we go. There's
and
Howard right there.
Howard, I see Howard. I see Kalisha, right? And then we have another guy over to the corner.
Yep.
He looks kind of familiar.
Familiar. That dude, Ta-Nehesi Coates.
He's really smart. Wow, he looks like he's probably like he could do great things. I don't know why.
You know, yeah. So he's got a look about him. It's a shirt.
So how was it? We're gonna go right. Listen, you got to Howard and you connected with Ta-Nehesi Coates.
Yeah.
Where did you guys meet?
So we met. I think it was a student union, and this was my freshman year, and I had gotten involved in an event called the Rhythm and Poetry Cipher, RAP, right? And so we would bring artists to campus. At that point, we would bring like poets. We'd bring hip hop artists. Some of the, we brought the Roots before, I mean, they were the Roots, but they weren't who they are. They were that group who would show up in a van and take out their instruments and rock. So he was one of our artists as a part of the Rhythm and Poetry Cipher that year. He was one of the poets, so we met then. So that's how I first met him, and we remained friends throughout. And our friend circle continued to build and overlap, and that was it, yeah.
And then you in the theater department, you met because you act as well in theater. You love your theater. You love both sides actually, in front and as well as back. Obviously, you do really great as well behind the camera and for theater. But a person that you met there, an amazing actor, incredible human being, Chadwick Boseman. Tell us about that.
So Chad and I met very early on at Howard. We were very good friends. We are very good friends. He was a brother to me, we built work together. We wrote plays together. We dreamed together. So he was a big part of our community, of our creative community, and then personal community as well. And Susan Lecce, who was in that picture, also. We all were Howard. Oh, there I am, Howard University. That was on my graduation day at Howard.
And oh, she is royalty in theater. I don't know who this CB is. Hi, Kira says hi. Donnie says hi. Tiffany, Elizabeth, I see say hi. There's someone else that really wants to say hi to you.
Okay.
And someone just wants to say hi to you, if you don't mind. Please welcome Kevin Boseman.
Kevin.
Chadwick's brother.
It's so good to see you. Oh, I think you might be on mute, but it's so good to see you.
Oh.
I love Kevin.
Hello. Hi, Kamilah. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's so good to see you, Kevin. So, it's so funny, Kevin, every time I see you, I always talk about how much of an inspiration you are and have been to me, and always, and just coming into art and all that and being an artist. So when Chad and I were at Howard, I can't remember why we came to New York, but we took the bus up to come visit you when you were on Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And you were touring, Kevin was like, Mr. Alvin Ailey on the poster touring. And I was like, wait, people can be professional? Like they get paid? And you were the model. And it's so good to see you.
So good to see you. And when Musa asked me if I would do this, I was like, absolutely, absolutely. Because whenever I would come through DC, of course, I always hung out with Chad, stayed with Chad. And I was the typical big brother. I was like, who are your friends? And it was people like people like Susan and Greg. And I fell in love with you guys, and anything I could ever do, lending you the floor on my Washington Avenue apartment. I was like, anytime, come up. Yeah. Because you guys were I knew you were the next generation of greatness.
Yeah.
I did not go to Howard. I went to Florida A&M, a rival
It's okay.
HBCU. Not even a rival, just another HBCU. But, I knew that always coming to Howard, I was like, man, I should have gone to Howard. I love FAMU, but
great. Rattlers are great.
FAMU was great, but there was something different about Howard, a different energy.
Oh,
Oh, look at. Yeah.
That was on your birthday, Kevin.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. That was the Black Panther New York City premiere. That's right.
Yep, that was right there on your birthday.
I recognized the coat. That beautiful coat he was wearing that night.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that coat was fly.
It was. And I was like, he got to be hot in that coat. He wore it all night.
All night, but it's too fly to take off.
It was too fly. Yes.
Oh man, yeah. And Kevin, I mean, it's so brilliant talking to Kevin because just incredible artist, a dancer, choreographer, brilliant.
Thank you.
And again, like I said, I adopted you as my big brother too.
And I adopted you as my little sister. And every time, you get a new accolade, I'm like, yes, give sis her things. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, there I am.
Yes. Just oh my gosh, because it's interesting, sometimes the pathway through arts, and at least for me personally, my parents were immigrants coming to this country. And, when I went to Howard, I was originally a biology major, but they always exposed me to the arts, but I never really had a clear model of what that actually meant. You go to college to get a career and you come out to get a job. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know, even going through and studying, I just knew I loved it. I just knew it was my calling. So, meeting you and Chad always talking about you and just looking up to you the way he did. And therefore I looked up to you then because it was like, yes, meeting you, it became tangible and real. To have a career in the arts, to be able to actually make a living and because that was a big fear. Like, how do I make a living at this?
Right.
Knowing, that it can be done.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I was the model. All right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were definitely the model, and you continue to be. You continue to be.
Kevin,
As do you.
Kevin, I just want to say, listening to you guys, and I know anyone watching, I'm here. I'm like, yo, just listening to you guys, I see the love, and I knew that this reunion had to happen. And but Kevin, I just want to say to you, I'm grateful because of Kamilah. I got to meet your brother, and then at the same time, I got to meet you. And we just instantly, I didn't know there was a connection at this little spot, this restaurant. We're gonna give a shout out because we want to support restaurants. Boulevard Bistro, Chef Carlos. Please go take out, delivery, all that good stuff. Okay, we just got to press up. And I met you two handsome together. Didn't know, honestly, brothers, but I saw you, and it was just like a mad connection, between us. And he's just such a genuine spirit, talented, gifted angel. Seriously, like you have that thing, and I connected with it instantly at the event, and we just been friends. And so I just want to say from us, everyone here, I get an opportunity as an ambassador of Harlem to say things like this. Get the opportunity to say that we loved your brother. And that just to say to you that he is someone that my children, my grandchildren will know about, and that he lived and his legacy lives. And I just want to say to you, thank you for being you and being here. And that when and you are an amazing artist in your own right.
Yeah, thank you.
That's what I want to say. So thank you for really joining us and surprising the hell out of Kamilah. She's like me. The rest of the show we're like in tears, but it's okay. I know it. But I just want to say thank you so much for sharing.
Yes, absolutely. I don't have words except thank you, Musa, for your friendship. Oh,
You know what? And that overall, Chad used to wear that.
yeah.
That was yours?
That was he probably had one of his own.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, because he's a little big. He was a little bigger than me.
Okay.
You know, he was a little taller. It would have been tight on him.
I love that photo.
Yeah.
So, thank you again, Kevin, and hopefully
Thank you.
I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Love you, Kamilah. And we've been saying, Kamilah and I have been saying for a few months, we're going to hang out. So I'm glad that we at least get this virtual hangout. And now next we'll do an in-person social distance. Well.
With our mask on, social
yes.
distance.
Yes. I love you so much.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you.
And congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Love you, Musa.
Love you too. See you soon. Okay. So that was my little surprise, my small, tiny surprise.
Well, that was a surprise because, again, we've been talking and knowing and trying to, you know, and because of COVID and travel, just really trying to be together. So it was great to see him.
Yeah, and I like I said, you know, we want to move. So I guess I'm having okay. We have a little moment. Okay, is you know, your career after Howard, you were able to do the Hip Hop Theater Festival, and let's talk a little bit about that. What was that like for you? You know, you created it and did it, correct? Is that what happened? Let me take us in.
Yeah. So it actually started. You know, well, yes, I'm going to back up. We started building work, and by we, actually at Howard, Chad and I. We co-wrote, we were part of a group at Howard at the theater department called the Playwrights Lab. And this was a group of artists that were, you know, trying to build their own box, right? Like, you know, the work, although the work we were learning, it was black, 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 black. It didn't necessarily speak to our generation, right? So we're doing August Wilson, but we're 20-year-old kids and his characters are 20 years older than us, you know, talking about things in ways that were beyond our years. And so we were trying to find work that spoke to us. So we started creating plays. We wrote a play together called Rhyme Deferred. He wrote a suite of plays, one of which is Hieroglyphic Graffiti. And realizing that, you know, Deeper Jour was another play that he wrote. You know, we had to produce our own work because it wasn't like theaters were knocking down our doors, you know, these young college kids just right out of college to produce our work. So we started self-producing on our own. We met up with other, the first year, we were actually part of the first hip hop theater festival that happened in New York. This was in 1999, partnered with them and co-founded the organization, the Hip Hop Theater Festival. And the Hip Hop Theater Festival is still in existence today. It is now called High Arts, run by incredible leadership, Mr. Raymond Codrington. They have office and performance space in East Harlem currently. But you know, we were doing the actual festivals themselves at theaters across New York City over the summer, downtown New York. That's a picture of our group, Hip Hop Theater Junction, and creators from Rhyme Deferred.
That's amazing.
You know, and everyone is off kind of doing their own thing now. You know, we did hip hop, we did festivals across the country in New York, DC, Chicago, San Francisco. And then really became, you know, fostering voices who were part of the festival, like Christopher Diaz, Issa Davis. We had, you know, obviously Danny Hawk, Sarah Jones were part of the early festival days. A lot of spoken, Mark Bamuti Joseph, he's now VP of Social Engagement at the Kennedy Center, right? Like his first early work were also part of the festival. We were a community who found each other, not just in the United States, but internationally. And we named ourselves hip hop theater artists, right? This is as Black people, this is what we do. As Black artists, this is what we do. We name ourselves, we claim our space, we take up space. And that's what that organization was about. what the organization was about. I think that was sort of the hip hop theater movement was about as well. Yeah, and you know, and it's funny because when I see writers like Amanda Gorman yesterday, right, that you referenced, right, coming out of the tradition of these organizations who like value language, that value spoken word, that value, you know, the written word and our own language, generational language. She came out of those organizations in LA, a part of a larger, she was one of the, you know, the Youth Poet Laureate, National Youth Poet Laureate. And now she's the, you know, adult poet laureate, you know, but being fostered by these organizations that foster what is your voice, and you are the next generation, and you can speak for yourself. And it's not about modeling other, you know, canon artists that you have to be like. It is finding your voice, harnessing it, and cultivating it. And she's a brilliant example of what we were doing. That's right outside of Crampton at Howard.
I love it. All right. You're right. That's what happens is in these type of environments, you never know what's going to come out of that. But we do know we can always expect something amazing to bloom out of these type of environments where art lives. You're going to find that. And so out of that, you, through spoken word, you were connected with Stan Lathan and Robert Simmons, and was at the beginning of a really successful run, which was Def Poetry Jam, which you would go on from casting to as producer to eventually executive producer of the iconic Def Poetry Jam. What was that like? Because that had never been done before, like to that level with that kind of energy.
That's right. You know, it was an exciting time because, again, it's like, you know, poetry, spoken word was definitely, it was a movement. Yeah. It is a movement, but that sat on the fringes as hip hop, right? So the opportunity to actually have a poetry show on a major television cable network, HBO, was mind blowing. Yeah. And it was bringing this culture that existed on the edges, right, to the center. You know, it was such a great time, and we had such great collaborators. But one of the most important things I think for me personally is that I really found a mentor in Mr. Stan Lathan, and watching him work up close, watching him claim space as a director, executive producer, having the kind of history that he did, and having the kind of history that he does in television, as being one of the first Black. Hey, Tiffany Vega, exactly. Tiffany, she started as one of our interns and became our GM. But you know, Stan really, you know, he one of the first Black directors in television. You know, and so there was a lot of lessons to be learned.
Just so people understand, it's Ta-Nehesi's father.
That's Ta-Nehesi Lathan's father.
Ta-Nehesi Lathan's dad. Yeah. Just want to shout out. Yeah.
If you think about the last 30, 40 years in television, and Blacks in television, he had a stamp on so much. You name it, there was some kind of a stamp that he had on it.
Always in the cut. I've met him on a few occasions, and I call it in the cut, because he's this amazing, powerful presence. Yeah. Right? And yet he's accessible in a way that's different. You know what I mean? That I always found like, wow, you know, who is this good-looking, older, powerful guy that would be around? You know what I mean? So I got an opportunity to see him in a few spaces. And you know, so yeah, he is an icon for sure. So now we go from there, and then how did you make this sort of trend? Well, did that lead you on to the Broadway stage?
Well, you know, parallel to Def Poetry, you know, I always was doing multiple things at once, and oh yeah, Felicia was on there. Oh yeah, she was on Def Poetry. I was always doing multiple things at once, so I was continuing to direct in theater, direct my friends' work, collaborate with artists that I just were near and dear to my heart. So directing work like Dominique Morisseau's, like Katori Hall's, working with artists like that, and continuing to direct theater is what led me then to opportunities to work in commercial theater as well, in Broadway. One of those being Mountaintop, that went to Broadway, and Raisin in the Sun, The Wiz Live, that was actually Broadway TV, so it was a bit of hybrid. But also being able to direct in New York some incredible premieres like Dominique Morisseau's Sunset Baby, being able to work with her on developing Skeleton Crew in the early days, which is just announced that's going to Broadway as well. So yeah, it was there was all of that was happening as for me as an artist all at the same time. You know, so sequencing wise, you know,
Right.
this project and working on this and continuing to you know, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Perfect my craft in that.
Amazing. There they are, the two powerhouse actors, Angela Bassett and Samuel L. Jackson, as well as powerhouse behind the scenes, Katori Hall, as well as Kenny Leon, who I adore both of them. You know, I've gotten to meet Kenny on several occasions. Got to get him on. Kenny, you're listening? You're getting on my.
Get him on. Get him on.
I'm reaching out, and you know I'm gonna come for you again. He's a wonderful. So he's a future cover with Kenny. But I'm gonna say that, you know, working with those, you know, what I love about you is how you're able to your collaborative situation. You really work well with people.
Yeah.
You know, you really do, and you bring out the best.
Mm.
You really do. I've noticed that from the Jump Street.
Mm.
When I personally got the opportunity to meet you, because you afforded the incredible opportunity, life-changing opportunity, to be the executive producer of the greatest. I say, I'm from Harlem, so I would say the greatest stage, entertainment stage in the world.
Listen, the world famous.
The world famous.
That's
Apollo.
right. That's right.
You know, I don't know, in my brain, being from Harlem, it's like my mom, the Apollo, 125th Street. It's all there. So what was that like, being given the opportunity of a lifetime?
Do you know, it was really unbelievable, because this is not what I was charting out. You know what I mean? Like, again, another time where I didn't think that was possible. That's not like, it was the Apollo. Like the Apollo is like the Apollo. You know, and when the opportunity came about and I was in conversation, I was like, yeah, no, they would never offer me. And when they did, I was like, what? The Apollo? You know, I had to pinch myself. I mean, this is a legacy institution. This is a place that when I moved to New York, you know, in my little jalopy of a car, I had to make sure, and I lived in Brooklyn, make sure that I drove up to 125th Street just so that I could set my eyes on the marquee. The theater was closed at the time, but I had to see the marquee. It was like a mecca, right? For me as a Black artist. And so, to have now in the position at the Apollo, you know, and this was in 2016, it was kind of unbelievable, you know, and you get a little bit like, whoa, but I was excited, and I still remain excited for the challenge. What I love about working at the Apollo, I still remain excited by the challenge because I understand and see the possibility, and I'm also fueled by the magic and the history, right? Every time, even just the other day, we were at the theater.
Right.
I hadn't been in the theater since September. We had another shoot in the theater in September, and I hadn't been inside since then, you know, because of COVID. And I realized how much I missed, you know, how much just walking through. And when I go to the theater, I don't even come through the administrative offices. I like to come on 126th Street, park my car, and walk through the stage, walk across the stage, just to remind myself, okay, this is history, this is magic, this is legacy that you are a part of, that you know what I mean, that you are working for, right? That your mission, that you know, this is your mission. And so not having to be able to do that for now, you know, for so long, was really hard. So walking in the theater was really emotional, and to see some of our staff, and the other day it was special. It was very special. Working at the Apollo continues to be very special for me.
What I love about what you've done is that you've also been able to, you put amazing work. I remember there was Teddy Riley, the 25th anniversary of what he did for the culture, right? These acts that come on, what comes through the Apollo is what I'm saying. And then one thing that you brought was being able to bring a bit of your past, which somehow at that moment, like we talked about this on Kamilah and I talked about this, how things align, how things are spiritual in nature. Because at the same moment that you're here, Ta-Nehesi, is blowing up, becoming this, the next, I want to say James Baldwin because that's just my reference, but becoming this, the thinker, the writer of our generation. And then you have Chadwick, who had already had a career, who was already killing it, but then the Black Panther comes out, which nobody was ready for. I mean, we're ready for it, but we weren't.
Yeah.
It detonated. It detonated, and it will always detonate.
Yeah.
And that had this huge success.
Totally. And
you brought the cast to the Apollo.
Well, I'll tell you, and that's something I was working on for months. Tell me
about that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I remembered, I don't know if you remember, 7 months prior to the film dropping in February, maybe 7 to 8 months, they dropped the trailer. It was a 60-second trailer, right? And obviously I knew Chad was working on it. But they dropped the trailer and I was like, this is going to be big. And there was so much buzz on social about just a trailer. I was like, this is something epic and Black culture. Epic and Black culture, the Apollo has to be involved. It has to be at the Apollo. So I was bugging everyone from Disney because we wanted to get the New York premiere at the Apollo. They ended up not doing a premiere in New York. They did the one big kind of splashy premiere in LA. But we knew we had to do something. We had to have some kind of intersection. Look, I have my Black Panther magazine right here. Not my magazine, the comic book that, Ta-Nehesi
did, right.
Right. So, I knew that, again, this was something so monumental about the culture. How can we make sure that, as a 21st century Black cultural bastion, because that's what I see the Apollo as, how do we make sure that this moment is happening here in the building? It was amazing that we were able to get not only Ta-Nehesi, but Chad, as well as Lupita, in conversation with one another about about the film. And it's amazing because I remember we announced it the day before. Tickets went on sale, almost crashed our website. We sold out in like 4 minutes, 1,600 seats, and then live streamed it on our platform. And it was a special conversation and moment because we as a people and community were just so hungry. We needed this film. We wanted this film. We had been waiting for this film for so long. So to have this Afrofuturism, Black people in the future that are powerful, forward-thinking, forward-looking, that are magic, like, come on. So, and to hear the creators, be in conversation with one another, it was something special. And they shared just so many, they were so honest, they were so giving. Hi, Elisa Payne.
We're also Kira Shireen.
Shireen, yes.
It was one of those moments. I was there, and I remember it felt like the only thing, guys, if you weren't there, it was like if you were at the Super Bowl and your winning team comes out and what that does for an audience. It was a different kind of applause. It was like you said, these are heroes, culture. They all now are cultural icons, and it was so necessary. Every Black person has wanted this, even if I'm in my 50s, you feel me? But I didn't have it as a kid. You know what I mean? So it's like we were all yearning. So if you're 18 and 15, I took my child, we had this cross connection of like the superhero in all of us. You know what I mean? And you brought that to the stage, and it was just, and another thing, you have, the moderator, Ta-Nehesi, was moderating, and they were sitting there, and they had Lupita, and I was just like, to myself, I'm here listening to them in awe. I'm just like, they're just so damn smart.
It was something.
So damn beautiful.
It was something.
Just, you know, these are brilliant people.
It
and
was something.
so rich. It was so rich.
I saw her the other day, and she talked about this time, and she said, you know, they've been doing press tours all around, but to be at the Apollo with this film, she said that it was so overwhelmingly, because the kind of response, and you saw the kind of response when they just walked on stage, the theater erupted, you know, and again, Black people waiting for this film for how many years? Like, how long have we been making films? We've been waiting for, you know, so to see ourselves reflected in this way, and gave that kind of love and joy and exuberance over. And she was like, I was overwhelmed. I was a little overwhelmed. So it was funny to hear that several years later, oh, there's you. Yeah.
Well, that's when you had the after party, a little after party, and that's where I got to meet our Kevin and got to meet Chadwick. And it was so fun because Carlos said, Chef Carlos at Boulevard Bistro, the old former Boulevard Bistro, said, Mr. Bozeman, you got to meet our ambassador. This is the Harlem ambassador. And do you know he went like this? Oh my God. And I'm like, dude, you're the Black Panther. You're Chadwick. But he was so humble and just so incredible. And, you know, a moment for me, I've met many celebrities, and I'll just say one of the most genuine people. Thank you so much for that moment, because that was because of you that I actually got to meet him. And, you know, and one of the things I love about you, Kamilah, is that, you know, which is so important, is the programming. One thing I love about you is the programming of the Apollo. It's just, you know, it's always been a major thing in our lives. We've seen Muhammad Ali fights as a child, right? Up through Mom's Mabley, prior generations before that, our parents saw, you know, the Motown. And programming has always been a big thing, and legacy building. And what you did also was be able to take something that we had not had, which was these kind of conversations, as well as cultural experiences and conversations, but then go a bit further and bring stage readings. I mean, anybody, you know, and I'm not trying to rub it anybody, but, you know, guys, there's this moment in your life where you know, I've been seeing Michael on stage and Whitney and Prince, and, you know, I've been fortunate, Lena Horne, you know, I've had those moments, and this goes right up there with the stage reading of Between the World and Me, with an all-star cast. And it was just, it resonates in my soul. It made a stamp on my soul, okay, that I can never shake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And what tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think, listen, you know, he had written the book, right? 2015, Between the World and Me, that, you know, shook the world, right? BLM was just, the BLM movement was just starting. But this movement for freedom, this movement for justice and liberation for Black bodies is something that we've been fighting for over 400 years. But BLM was just a new tagline, right? But the book had reverberations unlike any other into 2015. And I remember being moved. But again, you know, my ministry is theater. My ministry is storytelling.
Right.
So immediately when I see work, when I experience work, when I see a story or piece of art that moves me, I'm always, you know, as many people do, right? If someone's vision, like for instance, you see Michelle Obama yesterday, you immediately glom on to, you know, visually, what's happening visually. What are they, you know, clothes, fashion. For me, it's story, it's theater. I wanted to have a communal experience with his words, with the writing, with the ideas that were being brought up in the book. And that communal experience was through theater. It was intentional it was intentional to only be a reading, to be not only a reading, but to be a reading where there is a consistent, a rotating cast, because it was about a community embracing, right, this language. Yes, they might be recognizable because they're on TV, but it was important that when you see Joe Morton, this is not Joe Morton, Papa Pope, playing a character of a father. This is literally Joe Morton, which is why we want to make sure I wanted to lower third every person that walked on that stage, so that they are representing themselves. So this is Joe Morton, a father, of sons and daughters, right? A member of a community, a partner. And he is expressing these words and these ideas from his own personal experience. It was always about spurring a much larger conversation in our community. Sometimes with theater and storytelling, we can always be like, oh yeah, those people over there, that happened to those people. Oh, it was so horrible. Remember what happened in 2015 to that young man killed by the police, and the police ever. No. I wanted to remove those barriers of those people back then, way happened there, or it happened over there. This is happening around us, to all of us, and personally affecting all of us. The book personally affected me. It was, again, I talked about this before, Prince Carmen Jones, who is talked about in the book, was a classmate of ours at Howard University that we all knew. That was myself, Susan Kelechi Watson, knew Prince, Ta-Nehesi, Chad, and Prince was killed by Prince George's County Police. And up until this day, the police officer who murdered Prince is still walking the streets as a free man, right? So so this book spurred that conversation. This is a personal conversation. This is not specific just to me. We all have stories like this, and that is the tragedy. So how do we talk about this? How do we have conversations about moving forward? And more importantly, where do we heal? And part of this, the stage production and the film was about creating a space where healing could be possible, where opportunities of not just tragedy, but tragedy and resilience could be represented. Like I just saw that shot of Howard. Howard represents that resilience and that joy that sits within us, that has allowed us to persevere as a culture, as a people, and build one of the most powerful cultures on this globe. Right? That's our resilience. So even though the persecution against our people has gone on for so long, we are still powerful. And I'm about to say still I rise, but what I'm saying is that we are a powerful people, and that's what I wanted to convey with the film. So the way in which we shot it, the beautiful shot of the families, that's Pauletta Washington and her daughter. It is about families and their individual connection, and representing, so it was just as much as representing beauty, pride, as well as illuminating these tragedies that have been happening in our country.
Yeah, every word that you said. And all I could think about, part of the things I could think about was everything that you're mentioning about that. I was thinking about you and what you represent. And to me, what I'm so proud of is that you really continue that legacy and you honor it. And that is the reason that it's essential that the work I do, honoring people, whether they're as young as Amanda Gorman, or as seasoned as a Carmen de Lavallade. Yeah. And I've been fortunate to have those moments, and I wanted to have this moment with you now. And so this is the moment in our show where we say thank you. And welcome you to Ambassador Digital Magazine as our 31st cover. Going strong. It's been incredible. And so I wanted to say thank you to our team. We had a great team. We had a great time with you.
So much fun.
It was so much fun. And we wanted to just bring all that, dignity of who you are and to us, to me, you represent, every era has their queen, and you are our queen, the queen for us of the Apollo at this moment. And I know that you'll set the legacy for the generations to come. So with that, Paul, I would like to present the cover of Ambassador Digital Magazine. And Paul, I see Paul's trying to, he's our wizard. And there we have it, Kamilah Forbes.
Who that is?
That's
That is you.
Who that is?
I
Oh,
think you look
man.
amazing. So I'm glad you like it.
That's beautiful. Wow. All of this is so unexpected. Thank you all.
You're so welcome. So welcome. Thank you, Stephen. I wanted to say our team, thank you, Paul. You did an incredible job shooting.
Oh, that's incredible. And Stephen, oh my.
Stephen Rice for hair and makeup.
Yes.
Did behind the scenes, assisting. And thank you to the staff who was really gracious to us at the Apollo, as you said, opening up the Apollo for Ambassador Digital Magazine, specifically to do this cover on you. We are grateful. And this is one of my favorite shots. It just says so much about, you know, those are those iconic seats. Who sat in those seats? Who, you know, you got to think about that.
Yeah, that's right.
In that theater, in the center,
Yeah.
in the orchestra of that. So I want to say great job and a great cover.
Wow,
and
it was a beautiful experience. Yeah.
So much fun and joy working with you guys. Thank you. Thank you for this and just this conversation today. Such thought and caring, you know, in this conversation. You know, it's interesting because I think it's important that I always like to make a point to see people, you know, and it's really kind of beautiful also to be seen. So so thank you for that. You know, thank you.
And you know, here's that time in the show where we've covered so much, and I just want to say to you, Kamilah, that it's been an incredible year.
We celebrated you because you've done so much work celebrating others. So I was happy to kind of get these moments with you. Thank you so much for being present.
And look at the theater, it's so pretty. Oh, Charles, you're so sweet. Keith Joseph.
Keith Joseph, I see you. And thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Michelle, Keith, Joseph Atkins, Stephanie Robinson, I see you. Elizabeth, Courtney, everybody. You know, thank Stephen.
Stephen,
She's hot.
Lisa Payne, our producer for BTWAM. Tiffany, so great to see Kira, incredible visual fashion artist, Kira Shireen, I saw her in the chat.
Fantastic. And Donovan, I see you. And just want to say everyone out there that, you know, the Apollo, well, maybe you could just like maybe take us on home and tell us a little bit about, oh, by the way, I'm wearing a custom Muhammad Ali sweat jacket, Adidas from Michael K. Williams, who was our last week, and they're doing a pop-up on 128th Street. 146th Street. Just going to give her a shout out, Harlem Creative Collectives. But just take us out.
One more thing.
Tell us what's happening at the Apollo.
Sure. So right now what's happening at the Apollo is that we are I'm sorry. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. So what's happening at the Apollo? Now I'm trying to get myself. So we have been all digital since March, and our team has been doing a really incredible job, from programming to education to marketing and development. I mean, it has been a feat that we have had to pivot our whole institution in the way in which we're working. So most recently, we had an amazing program with MLK, our partnership with WNYC that ran on Martin Luther King Day last week. We have several public programs coming up that will be announced in a couple days. So keep your ear out because we've got some extremely exciting and fun digital programs that are going to take us out throughout the season, for the rest of the season through the spring. Knock on wood, we hope to be back in our spaces. Musa, you know, I pointed out when we were on 125th when Paul and Musa, remember we were standing under the marquee, the new theaters, which is old Victoria theaters, that we hope to be open for the public in late 2021, in this year for our 2021-2022 season. So we're actively programming and getting it ready to welcome the audiences. So this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, save our stages. That is exactly what we've been doing. So it's definitely been a feat. Definitely walked through the fire as an institution, because as you know, as many theaters, like overnight, our earned revenue like went away. You know, we lost close to 5 million in earned revenue, ticket revenue, because we had to close our doors. So we had to pivot very quickly. So which is why I shout out our development team and fundraising team, who did an incredible job really filling that gap so that we can keep our doors open and we can continue to serve our mission, which is about uplifting and amplifying Black culture and continuing to move it in the future. I like to say a big part of our mission is a 21st century as really being a home and building a 21st century canon. So there's a bunch of artists that I see in this chat. Keith Joseph Atkins being one of them. He's one of our commissioned artists. He and the New Black Fest that we've commissioned to create new work, as well as work folks like Stephon Harris, Camille A. Brown, that create new work that will be in several of our theaters as well. So we're very excited for the future and what's to come.
We are excited as well. Congratulations, by the way, Keith. I'm friends with Keith Joseph Atkins, and I think he's a genius. So, but I love everybody you're doing. I love what you're doing, and just know this is a platform we created during COVID. We're going strong. It's been incredible for us. We're building this. We built something that's just taken off in ways that I don't think Paul or I could ever have imagined. And we don't. This is totally a place where, like I said to you before, we will definitely be in contact and let people always know about your programming and as at the Apollo, and that people
on covers. So we got to do this show live at the Apollo when we open back up.
Let's do it.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
You
heard that, guys? Live at the Apollo. That would be a dream come true for the little Black kid from Harlem and Black Spanish boy from Harlem. That'd be great.
Yeah. That'd be great. That'd be great.
Looking forward to that. But we just want to say to you and say to our audience, thank you so much for joining us once again. This has been beyond. And you'll be seeing our magazine. You'll be seeing a magazine. What is it, tonight, tomorrow, Paul? We're live.
Oh my God, this is so beautiful looking at this. Covers. Sorry?
Paul, you hear me?
I heard. I didn't hear. Sorry, we were all talking. What'd you say?
We'll probably have it out tonight, late tonight. The cover.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll get it out tonight to you guys, and we'll definitely get you guys. So once again, we just want to say thank you so much, Kamilah. Continued success. Continue doing all the amazing things that you're doing. You are for the culture. and congratulations to everyone. Anybody that deals with the Apollo is very lucky, and we're lucky to have you.
I appreciate that. And thank you to you, Musa. Like I said, both you and Paul, it has been such a pleasure to be collaborating with you. Musa, I love running into you in Harlem because I always know that I'm being led in the right direction at all times, because you truly are the ambassador, and it's been great to be in both of your midst in this manifestation of ambassador. This is really something special that you all are doing. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. And once again, I want to say to our audience, spread the word, keep spreading the word. We're here. We're not going anywhere. It's just blossoming. It's a great year ahead. And good luck. I want to end on this for all of us. And on this note, let's all send a good energy and good luck to our new administration. You did that. We did that, right? Okay. And with that, I send you all in love and blessings. Have a great night. And once again, live your life with passion.
Oof.
Good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night.